Guys, what's up? So I want to run through and talk about what's selling and what is not selling at the card store so far. Keep in mind, this is, what's today? Thursday the 8th. I actually have a clock up there now. Thursday the 8th, classes do not start at the local college that we are on the edge of until next Tuesday the 13th. So things are still slow, but I have hit the point where on multiple days I have made more than enough money for the store to pay for itself for that day. So let's talk about what's selling so far in that environment and not, and then I'm going to make this video again in a couple weeks after school gets started back and the sales pick up and we see what the local market will organically support. So far, Lego, I have sold a couple of those, not very many. There have been a couple people who come in with little kids and they end up buying a Lego. The Pokemon empty tins, I have sold those to 2 people. And I just have all of these just stickered at $3 just for empty tins. And a lot of people go over and fondle them because they think, ooh, Pokemon tins. And then I'm like, yeah, they're empty tins. And then they look at them and they're like, I don't want empty tins. There's no dopamine left in these tins. And they put them back. But some people, especially the Pokeballs, they like those. So over into the cards, the Japanese Pokemon, those are selling well. I've sold several boxes of those, and a bunch of people come in and just pull a couple of random packs. The older Pokemon, let's see, there was one guy who came in and he had never opened a pack of anything before. He just walked in because he was like, I don't know what this store is about. And he bought a Chilling Reign pack and opened it because he was like, I always see people open these on TikTok. And so he opened it. It was a total dud. He got nothing. I have another guy who comes in pretty often. He asks specifically for Astral Radiance. I've got to print out a sticker. I have a note for myself to do that tonight. These old packs, so let me get you out of the glare here. These old, let's call them like 2010s Magic packs. The funniest thing happens because people will be walking around. They'll be looking at everything. We'll be chatting, and they'll be like compiling this huge stack of stuff they want to buy, and then they'll see these and everybody does this like double take, and then you see the nostalgia come over them and they're like, I haven't opened a Journey into Nyx pack since, and they'll name some like esoteric part of their life, like since I worked at AutoZone or whatever. And so like it just hits them with the nostalgia. And the great thing is I got most of these packs, like some of them were free and the rest were really cheap. I got from a business partner, and it was just a weird situation. He had them and he couldn't do anything with them. And so like he gave me a bunch of them for free and a bunch for very low price. I think my basis cost is like under $2 for each of these packs. Okay, Flesh and Blood. Nobody has bought any Flesh and Blood. Nobody has bought any Star Wars Unlimited. They have not even talked about it. At least Flesh and Blood, people talk about, though no one has bought. So Star Wars Unlimited, nobody talks about it. Nobody has bought any of it. Fabled, I've had a couple of buyers, maybe 3 buyers. Sorry, not Fabled, Lorcana, of which Fabled is an expansion. So I've had like 3 buyers, but no one who says they actually play it. Sorcery, I had one guy and his son came in on Christmas Eve and they bought a box of Arthurian Legends and a box of Gothic. And so that's it for Sorcery. One Piece has been doing really well. I've sold several full boxes of the English Legacy of the Master, and I've sold a couple of Japanese boxes, and then a whole bunch of booster packs of all of them. I have more of this coming, more variety. Patrons, if you're interested in this thing, I feel bad because long term, we all know Bandai is going to cancel this game. It's going to die, and the value of these products is just going to fall through the floor. So I'm trying not to hold too much, and I'm certainly not holding any of it for the long term. And so I feel bad offering it to my patrons because I do not believe in One Piece long term. It's gangbusters right now, but the reality is Bandai doesn't know how to keep its attention on something in the long term, and eventually they will cancel this game when it's no longer profitable to keep it going. And so if you're a patron and you want some of this, especially the Japanese, because I can get lots of the Japanese stuff at really good prices, message me and I'll help you out. So, if you just want to have it, hey, if you have different conviction on One Piece than I do, disagreement makes a market. That's great. Or if you just love the art and you love to open it, because everybody who comes in and buys this, says they just love the art and they collect it. Nobody says that they play One Piece. So, moving over to the other side, we will start with the singles. This is Fetch Lands and Shock Lands, and then some Commander staples in the form of Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, and Command Tower. And originally, let's see, there's 20 of these cards because I have the ally and the enemy combinations. And I had bought something like 2 copies of each, but not quite. I think I've sold like 5 or 6 cards out of here. And so, yeah, some people just come in and see it and they want to grab a couple. And yeah, again, this is the kind of thing where I think when the school opens back up and everything picks up a lot more because everybody's back around and at school all the time, on the campus all the time, in the dorms all the time, I think I'll see a big uptick in this. But I've sold, I would say, like 15% of what I had bought originally. As for like the older, more expensive Magic stuff, nobody's interested in this yet. It turns out I actually looked, the Lost Caverns of Ixalan bundles, those things are like $140 now. I was surprised they just like suddenly blasted up. And then when it comes down to the older Pokemon stuff, well, let's get the Flesh and Blood out of the way. Yep, nobody wants that. So, like I said, nobody's buying it, and maybe I'll order one of the more recent Blitz deck sets from the distributor soon, but again, we'll have to wait and see what the locals will support. If school comes back in session and there are people playing Flesh and Blood, then yeah, I'll probably buy some of the more recent Blitz decks because there will already be an established community. If not, I'll probably just use this space for more Pokemon stuff. As far as the Pokemon stuff, this stuff sells once in a while. Some of it sells. You know, it's more expensive stuff. You got to find the right buyer who wants to pay $400 for a Charizard UPC. And, you know, that's a reasonable price, but not every buyer wants to pay it. And so when you get down to the stuff that's like $65, $70, $100, you find a lot more people who are willing to get that kind of nostalgia trip for something from the Sword and Shield era. Candy and sodas, yeah, people buy candy. No one's bought a soda yet. And yeah, the sodas and the water are in the fridge, so they're cold. And nobody wants them yet, but candy, people love candy. So, on to Magic. Well, let's do this. Let's look right here at the storage boxes. I sell a couple of these a week. People just randomly realize they need a storage box. I think the reality is people use bundle boxes and ETB boxes, and they don't need as many of these. So, Lost Caverns and Throne of Eldraine? Wilds of Eldraine? Yeah, Wilds of Eldraine. Wild sells really well because basically it is incredibly underpriced at this price. I mean, those booster packs ought to be something more like $9 or $10 given the current price of a Wilds of Eldraine set booster box, but here we are. Some people have wanted the Lost Caverns set boxes. No one's wanted draft. But the interesting thing is you've still got, what, a year left on standard legality? But that also means it's already 2 years old. Duskmourn and Bloomburrow occasionally, yeah, people want some of that. But again, older stuff. The Fallout decks sell really well. I've sold through several cases of those. Doctor Who, less well. Final Fantasy decks sell really well. I've sold a bunch of those. I think I've sold a little bit of Foundations, probably no Aetherdrift, no Murders. There is one guy who comes in and buys the Strixhaven packs, and some people want the Zendikar Rising packs. Nobody's interested in Crimson Vow or Midnight Hunt. Have not sold one of the starter kits yet. People love Modern Horizons. Been selling a lot of that. Sold some complete boxes of it. Lord of the Rings, everybody goes nuts for that I still have Lord of the Rings, and I've sold complete boxes. I've sold through boxes of single packs. Final Fantasy, same thing. People love that. They buy boxes. A couple of boxes of Tarkir have sold, and then Bloomburrow sells really well. The decks, Aetherdrift, I just put these up like a day ago. Edge of Eternities, those sell well. And Lost Caverns, I've sold a little bit of that, but it hasn't been on the shelf as long. Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander decks, these are renowned as some of the best Commander decks made in recent history, and they sell pretty well. I've sold a couple of cases of those. Ravnica Remastered, yeah, wait, I skipped these. Yeah, occasionally some of these sell. I'm really surprised Avatar has not sold better. I've sold a couple of boxes and I've sold, a smattering of booster packs. Now, I'm not surprised that Spider-Man is not selling well. It is an older set and it has a worse reputation, but Avatar being newer and having a better reputation, I would have expected more sales out of it so far. Innistrad Remastered, yeah, nobody wants that. Dominaria Remastered has been the best-selling product at the store so far. I've sold a bunch of boxes of it, and I've sold lots of loose boosters, and some people like to get in on the Time Spiral, and then I just got some extra boxes down there. I threw a couple of these binders back here, but we'll see how long it takes to move some of that. Dragon Shields, yeah, people want that once in a while. And again, the storage products, they move. They move. The nice thing about them is the margins are unbelievable. Like your return is over 100% on compared to what you pay distribution for these things. And then modern Pokemon, everybody comes in and they're like, $8, that's so cheap. And then they buy a couple packs. So, those have been selling really well. And again, we'll see how it picks up when school gets back in session, how much it accelerates, and how the mix of things that are selling changes. I think that's going to be the most interesting thing. I've had like 2 people come in and ask about Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's like, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just not that big of a thing. A couple of oddballs asking about things like Universes and Godzilla and Gundam card game. And one person asked about Riftbound. He was like, can you get Riftbound Origins or whatever they're calling the first box? And I looked it up and I was like, yeah, do you want to pay $18 per booster pack? And he was like, no. And I was like, then I'm not going to get it. And he's like, okay. It's like, that's just the reality. I mean, you can't get some of this stuff and you can't get it at reasonable prices. I don't have a magic wand that I can get everything. There are a lot of things I can get at really good prices. And especially for my patrons, I can get great deals for them because we cut out the expensive marketplaces and we deal directly with each other. So, God, the kind of deals I get for them are wonderful. But if it's something that's new and weird and rare and it's already selling at 3 times what the original price was, then no, I probably can't get it at some great price for you. And it's the same thing with like One Piece, is it Carrying On His Legacy? It's the red box, Opus 13, I think. Those things are like, what, $300-$400 now? It's like, no, I can't sell you packs of this for $6. Like, there's no world in which that works as a business. So keep that in mind. Things are going great. Sales are going really good. And I am very, very, very excited for school to get back in session and see just how far beyond that magical break-even daily number I'm looking at that I need for the card store to support itself. Because like I keep saying, Final Trade as a business is already doing great. And the hope for the card store is, 1, I can leverage the card store to improve all my offerings through Final Trade, which I'm already doing for the patrons. And 2, the card store at least pays for itself and hopefully becomes a profit center for Final Trade, which it's already looking like it's definitely going to. So again, I will make a video, all the numbers for you and everything else, and I will have a follow-up video to this in a couple of weeks after school is back in session, and I will talk more about how things have changed in terms of sales volume, sales mix, what people are into, and what they want to buy. Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.